Okay. Question 17, what type of container should be used to package debris? So in both arson and our explosive chapters, we talked about packaging debris. That was always, we talked about putting it in an airtight container so that any type of accelerants and things like that that were used would not evaporate. We would actually collect those and keep them inside the package so that forensic examiners can look at that evidence. Okay. The decomposition of organic matter by heat describes a process called pyrolysis. So that was from chapter 14 over fire. It was a key term that we talked about in our key points review, and it was also on your Quizlet flashcard. So it's just really a definition, knowing that the decomposition, so as a fire burns and breaks down that matter, that eventually that matter breaking down is going to add to the energy of the fire, and then once the fire burns out or all the matter is burned up, then there's no longer a fuel source, and so the fire is going to go out. So you can kind of think of firewood. Okay, you've seen firewood, you burn it, eventually the fire is going to stop, and that's because this decomposition of that matter. So because those compounds in the firewood are breaking down, it's adding to the fuel source, which is what keeps the fire going, but eventually you know that everything's just kind of reduced to ash. There's no more matter there to actually burn, and so the fuel that's left, or the fuel that was sustaining the fire, is no longer there. So that's what this process of pyrolysis is talking about. Okay, and then your matching section, you were looking at a couple of the explosives and just matching it to the term and definition. That was on your key points review. It was also in your Quizlet flashcards, and it was in your note outline as well. So the first explosive used in mining, created from nitroglycerin and diatomaceous earth. Strength of the brick increases exponentially as the percentage increases. Well, one of the first explosives, and that was probably one of your easiest and main hints in this question, is one of the first explosives used in mining was dynamite. Okay. The main ingredient is either potassium nitrate or sodium nitrate, used as a safety fuse. Okay, the safety fuse part is really one of your biggest clues here. And what's used in the safety fuse is usually black powder because it has a slow burning process. And so as you set it on fire, and if you're going to use that to ignite an explosive, that safety fuse is going to slow burn until it finally reaches the detonator and then goes through the series of steps that we talked about in one of our previous questions. And then question 21, a primary explosive used to detonate other explosives made from copper or aluminum and initiated by a safety fuse. Well, this is a primary explosive. So if we know that is a primary explosive, we know that it is a high explosive that's used to detonate other things. And so blasting cap is my only remaining answer choice that I can use, and it's my best answer choice because I know that blasting caps are one of the main detonators that are used to set off those secondary explosives. Okay, and then determine whether it was high or low explosive. So this, again, was in your key points review. I made sure that they were on the Quizlet flashcards as well as kind of getting a simple list to categorize them as high or low. And so TNT is a high explosive. Dynamite is a high explosive. RDX, or like C4, is a high explosive. And then black powder is one of your most common low explosives, so that should have been answer choice A.